I have examples of these different types of alternatives of flexible kinds of work, from telecommuting, outside sales, um, private business, owning private businesses, professional services providers. There's consulting, there's teaching, job sharing, and part-time work. Those were the examples that I could think of. Then there's also a slide about making the transition, and then things that can be done. There's a couple of slides about things that can be done going forward to make things easier in the future, or else just to have a background to make better choices for yourself, or even guiding your own children or other people in the community. So, as a background, I think most of us that are on the call are pretty familiar with these issues, but for some people who may be kind of coming into this job, right as it says on the bottom, being a caregiver is a second job. It's a job of its own. Childcare is expensive, and it's complicated. For younger children, there's nannies, there's au pairs, there's daycare centers. There's also, the complex using family members. That's something that I did. I used a patchwork of nannies and family members to watch my children when they were young. But expenses increase dramatically with each additional child. Even nannies like to charge a per child fee for their time. And then there's the sick child quandary. Particularly with multiple children. I had one daughter in daycare who got kicked out of a daycare center because she was sick so many days. But I think my husband and I had to cover 1 month. We had to cover like 10 days she needed to be out. She was out for like half of the days that she should have been in daycare because she got sick in daycare. But it's a quandary that just goes on and on and on about, does the kid have, how high is the fever? How long have you had the fever? How long have you been on the antibiotics? And it's, really in a professional environment, you can only really take off a couple days a year total. And if you have 3 kids and they each get sick for 4 days a year, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So you end up sending sick children to school, which is it's a known thing. It's a kind of funky thing. And then for school age children, often you need to, if you want to have your kids in enrichment activities, they need a driver. You have to get there and you have to move them from place to place after school. Or, if there's piano and then there's theater and then there's swimming and soccer, and, you want to be able to participate in these things. You want to encourage your child to enjoy them. It's a challenge. The school calendars and the professional calendars are not aligned. There's no incentive for either group to make them align. Unfortunately, the school calendar is based on agriculture, which is obviously antiquated. And the professional days are based on sort of minimizing costs and efficiency, and they're just not related. In the summer, summer camps can be very expensive. I've been looking at a couple on Facebook. There are camps that are $1,200 a week for sleepaway camp per child. And okay. And it's also difficult to schedule to provide enough coverage to work without dealing with a lot of transportation issues throughout the day. I remember having these, very large, I did that even this year, although I ended up canceling a bit of it. I use a color-coded spreadsheet to list my, the things that I want for each week for each child. So I might have 9 options for each week, and there's 10 or 11 weeks through the summer. So there's 100 different camps that I'm trying to look at, and then I end up boiling it down, getting somebody into each camp each week, and it's crazy. It's a job in and of itself. It took me quite a few hours to get that lined up for the summer. It's very inefficient. And then there's logistics like medical and dental appointments for kids that are all, again, during the workday, and trying to handle all of the needs for nutritional and educational and social emotional needs for the children. It just takes time away from the office to go see the play and all that stuff. And of course, there's the emotional side of it. For some people, it's very clear that they want to be home. Other people don't think that being home is the right place for them, that they really thrive in a competitive work environment. And other people are kind of on the fence. They want to do both. It's probably most people. You want to do some form of both, but what's the best approach? And to me, it seems like there aren't as many good options as there should be. And it's definitely that being a caregiver is a second job. Usually it starts out caring for children, but sometimes it turns into caring for aging parents. And that can be the same issue. And it's a legitimate job that needs to be done, and it needs to be done well.